So I think we mentioned Hilbert Hotel, so that takes us to the next one, which says this. Some say that the universe beginning might be eternally old. So now we're in the Hilbert Hotel, right? And they would claim that a past infinity can exist. And I've seen somebody saying that. So what would be your comment to that? Can a past...
Here, I would refer your listeners to the many YouTube videos as well as the many articles on reasonablefaith.org where I've defended this. I give 4 arguments as to why the universe began to exist at some time in the finite past. One is based upon the impossibility of an actually infinite number of things in reality, which implies that the number of past events is finite, and therefore the universe had a beginning. The second one is based on the impossibility of forming an actually infinite collection of things by adding one member after another consecutively. That would also imply the finitude of the past, because that's exactly the way the past has been formed, one event after another. And then, as if that weren't enough, I give 2 scientific confirmations of the beginning of the universe. One from Big Bang cosmology, which indicates the universe came into being about 14 billion years ago, before which it did not exist. And then from the thermodynamic properties of the universe, which show that the universe cannot be infinite in the past, but began in a very low entropy condition and has been growing steadily toward higher entropy ever since. And so we have 4 independent, very powerful arguments for the truth of the premise that the universe began to exist. And in addition to those, other contemporary defenders of the argument, like Andrew Locke, whom I mentioned, or Alexander Pruss, or Robert Koons, have offered additional arguments in support of that premise.
Great. So then when, I've seen it myself, when you confront people with that, so when confronted that actual infinities cannot exist, some would then say, okay, but then you exclude God. You believers, you put this as a thing for the universe, and then you exclude God. What's your logic? Why would God be an exception?
Yeah. Al-Ghazali argued correctly, I think, that if the universe and time and space began to exist, then what exists beyond the universe must be timeless and spaceless. And so the argument proves the existence of a timeless, spaceless being who created space and time, matter and energy a finite time ago. So it does not postulate an infinitely old God who's existed for infinite past time. Quite the contrary. It says that time began to exist a finite number of years ago, and that beyond the Big Bang is this state of timelessness and spacelessness.
Yeah, so let's say that, in other words, God who created time cannot be subject to time.
Correct.
Would that be a fair statement? Right.
Yes. Well, let me qualify it, Ahmed.
Yeah.
That's true of God as he existed without the universe. I think it's still an open question. When he created time, did he then enter into time in order to have relations with the physical universe that he's made, or did he remain in a timeless state? And I think that is an open question. But the way you put it, if God created time and space, then he must be in and of himself timeless and spaceless.